Assalamu alaikum. Yes, children, in the previous video you must have seen how to multiply a monomial by a monomial. We applied that concept in multiplying two monomials and later on in multiplying three monomials. While multiplying two monomials, you have seen we multiply first coefficient by coefficient and then variable part by variable part to get the result. And later on, while multiplying three monomials, you have seen we would first multiply out of the three monomials two monomials, and the result of those two we would then multiply by the third monomial. We have seen in the previous exercise. Now today, the next exercise that we have to start, we have to apply the same procedure again. But we have to now learn how to multiply a binomial or a trinomial by a monomial. We'll be applying the concepts learned in the previous exercise. Let us begin the exercise number 3. We have question number 1 of this exercise. Question 1 of the third exercise. There are 5 parts. We are asked to carry out the multiplication of the expressions in each of the following pairs. In each of the following pairs. The first pair is 4p. The monomial, just one term there, followed by comma, and then another expression is given, a binomial, q plus r. We have to multiply monomial and binomial here. 4p is a monomial, just one term. Q plus r is a binomial, two terms are here. We have to multiply them. Now to begin the procedure, we'll first write, remember, whenever you have more than one terms in an expression, you must use bracket for that. Earlier, we used bracket in the previous exercise. Wherever we had two signs together, we would keep the second term, second expression. The expression which with minus sign, we would keep that in the bracket. After multiplication, we would start the bracket, then there was minus sign, then the term, coefficient, variable part, then we would close the bracket. That was the case when there are two monomials only. When to use the bracket? Whenever there are two signs together. But in case you have to multiply expressions having two or more than two terms, then use always bracket for those expressions. Monomial will keep without bracket. We'll use bracket to write monomial. We'll write monomial in the bracket only when it will have negative sign and then it will immediately follow multiplication sign. Two signs together means you have to use the bracket. But now when there is a binomial, a trinomial, you will write that in the bracket. So therefore, we will begin with writing this with the multiplication sign. 4p is the first expression. Then instead of comma, we'll write multiply, because we have to multiply now. We have to multiply this by a binomial, and whenever there are two or more terms in an expression, write that in the bracket. So q plus r will write in the bracket. This is our question. I have replaced comma by proper sign as per the statement. We have to multiply them. So multiplication sign we have written instead of comma. Now this tells us that you have to multiply these two. Well, before using the procedure we have learnt in the previous exercise, multiplying monomial by monomial, we'll change this to that shape. And for changing this to that shape, you have to use first the distributive law. Distributive law we have already learnt. The terms in the bracket separated by plus sign. Both of these terms you have to multiply by this 4p, which is outside the bracket. This we have learnt in distributive law. First chapter we did this. We then applied this in the second chapter also. Now here again you have to use it. Distributive law will be used. By this 4p you have to multiply first q, the first term in the bracket. Then by the same 4p you have to multiply r also, the second term in the bracket. So therefore this will become 4p multiplied by q. This will be the first part. By this monomial, which is outside the bracket, we multiply the first term in the bracket, that is q. We are using distributive law. It will be followed by the sign that is in the bracket, plus sign here. So we'll put plus sign here now. And then multiply by this 4p, second term also. 4p is multiplied by r. This is use of distributive law. 4p got distributed over this addition. It multiplied first q, it then multiplied r also, with plus sign separating them. Thus, this part of the question becomes product of monomial and monomial now. Likewise, after plus, you have another portion involving multiplication of a monomial and a monomial. So therefore, now you have to apply the concepts learnt in the previous exercise. Multiplying monomial by monomial. You have to use that twice in this part as well as in this part. I separated them. I kept these separate parts in the brackets to identify which term is multiplied by which term after the use of distributive law. Now when we multiply this, as usual, we'll first multiply their coefficients. Coefficient here is 4, coefficient here is 1. So it will be 4 ones are 4. Then multiply their variable parts. P is the variable part here. Q is the variable part here. The P of the first expression does not appear in the second expression. And you were told it means it is P raised power 0 there. In multiplication we use the law, bases are same, powers are added. And you were told earlier that in such a case, P will remain as P because it is not in the second monomial. Power of P will remain same because in the second expression power of P will be 0 if you introduce that. Then 0 plus 1 will continue to be 1. After multiplying P's, now you have to multiply Q also. And that Q is only in the second expression. First expression does not have. Therefore again, as I said, the first expression will have Q raised to power 0. And then it will again become Q. So therefore P remains as it is, Q also remains as it is, because that P is only in the first monomial. Second monomial does not have. Likewise Q remains as Q because it is not contained in the first polynomial, first expression. That was the case of the first part. Then there is plus sign. Now multiplying the monomials in the second bracket. And here also, first as we multiply coefficients, 4 will be multiplied by 1, it will remain as 4. P and R will remain as P and R. Because P is in the first monomial, it is not in the second monomial, we have to multiply. So P will remain as P. R also will remain as R because R is not in the first monomial. It is only in the second monomial. So it will remain as R. This is the product of monomial and binomial. Now, to have some more practice of it, let us do another part. Part number 2. We have first expression AB, a monomial. Second expression is A minus B, a binomial. We are asked to multiply these. Monomial by binomial. Same procedure we will be using. Now in the first step, we will replace comma here as we did by multiplication sign. So it will become AB is multiplied by, and binomial we will put in the bracket. A minus B will keep in the bracket because it is a binomial. And then what did I say here? Use first distributive law. By this 4p we multiplied Q as well as R. Multiplication we distributed over addition. Addition sign is here. Now in this case you have to distribute multiplication over subtraction. A minus B we have. Instead of plus sign here in the bracket we have minus sign. Therefore multiplication will be distributed over subtraction this time. Therefore you will get here instead of plus sign, minus sign this time. So what will we have? As we use distributive law, first AB will multiply the first term of the binomial, A. AB multiplies A here first. Then there is minus sign. Previously it was plus sign. So we wrote plus there. Now here it is minus, so we have to write minus this time. Then AB will multiply B. AB will not multiply here minus B because that minus we have already used. Had we taken plus sign here like previous question, then that minus would continue to be with B. It would be then AB multiplied by minus B. But we have already used this minus, therefore we will not repeat that minus sign there. Thus, the question gets divided into two smaller questions of the previous exercise. Multiplication of monomial by monomial, multiplication of monomial by monomial. That is what we kept in the long brackets in the previous question. Here also we can use long brackets for these. This part will be in one long bracket, then after minus second long bracket will start. Now multiplying using the previous procedure, previous exercise procedure, multiplication of monomial by monomial. What will we get? Coefficients when we multiply, both coefficients are 1. This is 1, here also is 1, so it will continue to be 1. We need not write 1. Multiplying variable parts, A we have repeated here. So as you multiply A's, you'll get A square. 1 plus 1 powers are added in multiplication, bases are same, powers are added. So it is A square. But B will remain as B because B is only in one expression. Second expression does not have B. It will be B raised power 0 there if you would like to do that. No need of doing. It will remain as B. Then there is minus sign. Here also, when you multiply coefficients, it will remain as 1. Because both the expressions have 1 as coefficient. So the product also will have 1 as coefficient. We need not write. Multiplying variable parts, A is only in one expression. So therefore A will remain as A. And when you multiply B's, it will become B square. We use the law in multiplication, bases are same, powers are added. This will be the answer of the second part. Now these terms are unlike terms. Here you have finally in the result two terms, but these are unlike terms. We cannot combine them. You have seen the restriction of like terms and unlike terms in case of addition and subtraction. We can add like terms, we can subtract like terms. Unlike terms can neither be added nor subtracted. So we cannot combine these because these are unlike terms. Here square is on A, here square is on B. So therefore these are unlike terms. We cannot combine them. This was part number 2. Now part number 3. In the part number 3 we have first expression a binomial A plus B followed by comma. Then we have 7A square B square, a monomial. Thus a binomial is multiplied by monomial. Earlier it was monomial multiplied by a binomial in the two parts. Now it is a binomial to be multiplied by a monomial. Now writing it in the usual form, binomial will write in the bracket A plus B. Comma will be separated by multiplication sign. Then 7A square B square, monomial. Use of distributive law. Previously the monomial was on the left side, so it was distributive law applied from left side here. Now the monomial is on the right side, so therefore distributive law again you have to use, but it will be applied from right side now because the monomial is on the right side. It was from left to right. we applied distributive law from left side because monomial was on left side. Now the monomial being on right side, we will use the distributive law again, but from the right side. So what will happen? By this 7a square b square, we'll first multiply the first term of the binomial, that is a. So it will be a multiplied by 7a square b square. We multiplied from the right side. Distributive law we are using. Then there is plus sign. Then the same monomial will now multiply the second term of the bracket, that is b. So it will be b multiplied by 7a square b square. 7a square b square. Then the result will be obtained by using the concepts of previous exercise. We have first part as product of a monomial and monomial. We'll use small long bracket for this. And for second part also we'll use the long bracket, a product of monomial and monomial. So the product of binomial and monomial is changed in the form of product of monomial and monomial. We get two such results here. And for multiply them, same procedure. Coefficients will be multiplied, we'll get 7. Coefficient of first monomial is 1, coefficient of second is 7, so it is 7 ones are 7. As you multiply variable parts, a's will be multiplied first, bases are same, powers are added, you'll get a cube. 1 plus 2 is 3. B will remain as b square because that b is not in the first monomial. So it will continue to remain b square. Then plus. In case of second bracket, you will again get coefficient as 7. 7 ones are 7. But this time powers of b will be added. A does not appear in the first expression, first monomial. So a square will remain as it is. B will be raised to power 3. It is a square b cube therefore. And then again the terms are unlike terms. A cube b square b cube therefore cannot be combined. This will be the answer. One more part of this question I shall show before we begin the second question. Last part, fifth part, I shall give you as homework. That is multiplication by 0. We have in the fourth part, first expression a square minus 9, a binomial followed by comma. And then second expression is 4a, a monomial. So this is again the question on multiplying a binomial by a monomial. Writing it in usual form, symbolic form, multiplication will introduce in place of comma. Binomial will be in the bracket, a square minus 9 will be in the bracket, multiplied by 4a. And then use the distributive law. So same thing we are repeating again and again. This will give you practice how to multiply binomials by monomials. And later on you have to use these in some more questions. Now as we multiply in the first step we use distributive law. So what will we do? A square will be multiplied by 4a. Distributive law is again applied from right side here because monomial is on the right side. So 4a multiplies a square first. Then there is minus sign. 9 also will be multiplied by 4a. Use of brackets for these monomial products of monomials. 2 brackets we got. And then multiply the 2 brackets one by one. We'll get 4a cube minus 36a. What did we do? We first multiplied the coefficient by coefficient. We got 4. As we multiplied the variable part, bases are same here. A in both the cases. Powers are added. Second bracket, we multiplied coefficients. 9 4s are 36. And then that a remains as a because the first monomial does not have a. So therefore the law cannot be used. We can use the law here also by introducing a in this monomial also, as earlier said, by writing a raised to power 0 there. Then 0 plus 1 will become 1. This is the answer. Now can you combine these two? No, because these are unlike terms. This has variable part a cube. This has variable part a only. These are unlike terms. Therefore we cannot combine them. This will remain as the answer for this. That was part number 4 of question number 1. Last part is multiplying by 0, and you know 0 multiplied by anything is 0, therefore answer for that will be 0. You will do that. Second question is again a table. One of the tables we had in previous exercise also. Some parts of that we did that day. I explained how to solve those questions. This is also completing the table. First expression, 5 values are given. Second expression, again 5 values are given. You have to find the product. Multiply first expression by second expression. So let us consider the first part. Second question, A part. The first expression here is A. I will write it in the form of previous parts of previous question. First expression is A here, a monomial. Then I shall put comma and write the second expression. It is B plus C plus D here. B plus C plus D. This is what we have to do. And we did just now these in the previous question. Same thing you have to repeat. But this time, instead of a binomial, it is a trinomial here. 3 terms are there. This trinomial you have to multiply by monomial. There will be no change in the procedure. You have to repeat the same thing. So writing it in the symbolic form first, instead of comma, we'll put multiplication sign, and trinomial will write in the bracket B plus C plus D and use distributive law. Monomial is on the left side here, so it is distributive law to be applied from left side. You have seen in the previous parts of previous question, we sometimes have monomial on the left side, sometimes it is on the right side. So you have to use distributive law in either case. In case the monomial is on the left side, then distributive law will be applied from left side. In case monomial is on the right side, then you have to use it from the right side. Now what will happen? This A will multiply first B, so it will be A multiplied by B, followed by plus sign in the bracket. We have plus sign after that. Then by the same A, monomial outside the bracket, you will multiply second term C, A multiplied by C. Then again there is plus sign. And then you will have to multiply A by D also. 3 parts, 3 terms were there, so therefore 3 parts you will get. 3 brackets you will use, long bracket first, second, third. Showing the 3 terms multiplied by the monomial outside. This shows the first term multiplied by the monomial. This shows second term multiplied by the monomial. This bracket shows third term multiplied by the monomial. Then what will we get on multiplying? This will be AB plus AC plus this will be the answer. The terms are unlike terms now, therefore cannot be combined. These will remain as such. Now second part. Second part, first expression is the trinomial x plus y minus 5. Then we'll put comma here. And the second expression is a monomial 5xy. Here the monomial is on the right side. Therefore distributive law will be applied from right side. Previously monomial was on the left side. So distributive law was applied from left side here. Here it will be applied from right side. Writing it in the usual form, we'll write the trinomial involved in the bracket. Instead of comma, we'll put multiplication sign and then the monomial, 5xy. Now multiplying, use distributive law from right side. What will be the first part? First term of the trinomial multiplied by the monomial. It will be x multiplied by 5xy. Since there are 3 terms, therefore this question will be divided into 3 parts. And this will be the first part. First term multiplied by the monomial, this will be put in the first long bracket. Then followed by plus sign, so we'll have plus sign here. Next we multiply second term by the monomial. It is y here. So y will be multiplied by 5xy. And use second bracket for this part. Then there is minus sign. So we'll put minus sign now. Where there is plus, you have to write plus. Where there is minus, you have to write minus. Third part will now be put in the third bracket, consisting of third term out of the three terms of the trinomial. 5 multiplied by the monomial 5xy. Multiplying, we'll get 5. 1 is a 5. 1 is the coefficient. 5 is the coefficient. 5 ones are 5. Variable parts will multiply. X into x will become x square. Powers are added. Y will remain as y because y is not in the first monomial. So it will remain as y. Then plus. Likewise, it is 5xy square here. Powers of y are added this time. X does not appear in the first expression, so x will remain as x. Coefficient will be 5 ones are 5. Then minus. Third term will be 5. 5's are 25. X will remain as x. Y will remain as y. Because x and y are not in the first monomial. This is the result. And the terms again are unlike terms. Therefore cannot be combined. This will be the answer for this. The remaining three parts of this question you will try. Do those. And I shall close the day here. All the best.